The year is 1944. Cherbourg, France, recently liberated but still scarred by war, hums with the frenetic energy of a U.S. communications post. A cacophony of clattering typewriters, crackling radios, and shouted orders fills the air. The post is a vital nerve center, processing a constant stream of coded messages, intelligence reports, troop movements, supply requests, and urgent warnings. Every message is a piece of a larger, deadly puzzle, and misinterpreting even a single character could mean the difference between victory and disaster. The stakes are impossibly high, the pressure relentless, and the atmosphere thick with anxiety. Amidst this organized chaos, a quiet figure moves almost unnoticed. Harold Finch is the night janitor, a man of unassuming presence and a past that hints at unrealized potential. He's a former mathematician, a brilliant mind that, for reasons known only to himself, never quite found its place in the hallowed halls of academia. Instead, he pushes a mop and empties waste bins, his nightly routine a stark contrast to the high-stakes drama unfolding around him. He works methodically, silently observing the comings and goings of the officers and codebreakers, the discarded scraps of paper their frantic work leaves behind. He blends into the background, a ghost in the machine of war. But Harold Finch is not merely cleaning floors. He's watching. He's absorbing. He's noticing things that others, caught up in the urgency of the moment, are missing. He sees the crumpled code sheets, the scribbled notes, the hastily erased calculations, and something within him, the dormant mathematician, begins to stir. He starts to see patterns, subtle anomalies in the seemingly random strings of numbers and letters. Meanwhile, a shadow of dread is falling over the American forces in the area. Ambushes are becoming increasingly frequent, more sophisticated, and devastatingly effective. Convoys are being ambushed on seemingly secure routes, patrols are walking into meticulously planned traps, and supply lines are being choked. The military leaders are baffled, frustrated, and desperate. They pore over intelligence reports, analyze maps, and interrogate prisoners, but the enemy remains elusive, their communication methods seemingly impenetrable. The brass are starting to sweat, the mood is turning sour, and the casualty lists are growing longer every day. Harold Finch, as he sweeps and scrubs, begins to connect the dots. The discarded code sheets, the intercepted messages, the reports of ambushes, they all seem to be subtly linked. He pores over the discarded messages, retrieving them from trash cans, smoothing them out on his mop bucket. He notices recurring sequences, subtle shifts in cipher, and patterns that seem to defy pure chance. A theory begins to form in his mind, a radical idea that the enemy's seemingly random code is not random at all, that it contains hidden patterns that can be deciphered, that can be used to predict their movements. He hesitantly approaches his superiors with his findings, a stack of crumpled code sheets clutched in his trembling hands. He explains his theory, his voice barely above a whisper, his eyes darting nervously. The reaction is predictable: dismissal. He's a janitor, a crazy janitor, as one officer derisively calls him. What could he possibly know about cryptography? His theories are dismissed as the ramblings of an overworked, underqualified cleaner. The officers, stressed and sleep-deprived, have no time for the fanciful notions of a man who should be emptying the bins, not trying to crack the enemy's code. But Harold Finch is not deterred. Despite the skepticism, the ridicule, and the outright dismissal, he continues his work. He is driven by a deep-seated sense of duty, a desire to contribute to the war effort, and a burning passion for the beauty and order of mathematics. He spends his nights poring over the codes, fueled by coffee and a stubborn refusal to be ignored. He knows he's onto something, he can feel it in his bones, and he won't rest until he proves it. If you want to know how this unassuming janitor's insane theory saved countless lives, subscribe for more untold stories of wartime ingenuity. The ambushes, however, didn't stop. They intensified, becoming more frequent and audacious. The pressure on the American troops mounted with each passing day. The initial frustration morphed into a gnawing sense of dread, a feeling that they were fighting an invisible enemy who always seemed to be one step ahead. The need for a breakthrough became increasingly urgent, the stakes higher with every life lost. Each failed convoy, each slaughtered patrol, added fuel to the fire of desperation burning within the ranks. The enemy code itself became the ultimate antagonist. It was an intricate web of deception, a complex cipher that seemed to defy all attempts at decryption. The enemy's code makers were clearly masters of their craft, weaving layers of obfuscation and misdirection into every message. It was a puzzle box designed to frustrate and defeat, a testament to the enemy's cunning and their determination to win at any cost. The code stood as an impenetrable barrier, shielding their plans and ensuring their continued success. But Harold Finch was not easily deterred. Night after night, fueled by copious amounts of black coffee and sheer force of will, He continued his relentless analysis. He meticulously cataloged patterns, cross-referenced sequences, and painstakingly reconstructed fragments of intercepted messages. He filled notebooks with calculations, diagrams, and annotations, his small office transforming into a chaotic tapestry of code and theory. Then, one night, after weeks of tireless effort, he had his breakthrough. He discovered a subtle, almost imperceptible pattern within the code, a recurring sequence of numbers that seemed to correlate with the timing and location of the ambushes. It was a small crack in the wall, a single thread in a complex tapestry, but it was enough. He discovered that by analyzing the frequency and placement of these numerical sequences, he could predict, with surprising accuracy, where and when the enemy was planning their next attack. It was a long shot, a theory based on intuition and painstaking observation, but it was the only lead they had. He compiled his findings into a comprehensive report, complete with detailed analysis, predictive models, and maps highlighting potential ambush locations. He presented his evidence to a reluctant superior officer, Captain Davis, a hardened veteran worn down by the constant pressure of command. Davis initially dismissed Finch's claims as more of the same delusional nonsense. But Finch pressed on, patiently explaining his methodology, walking Davis through the complex patterns he had uncovered. He showed him the correlations between the numerical sequences and the past ambushes, the statistical probabilities that supported his theory. Slowly, gradually, Davis' skepticism began to erode, replaced by a flicker of cautious interest. Davis, despite his reservations, agreed to test Finch's predictions. He authorized a small, low-stakes operation, a patrol sent to a location flagged by Finch as a potential ambush site. The patrol was instructed to proceed with extreme caution, to be prepared for anything, and to report back immediately if they encountered any signs of enemy activity. As predicted, the patrol encountered an ambush. But because they were forewarned, they were able to avoid the trap, sustaining no casualties and gathering valuable intelligence about the enemy's tactics. Finch's success began to gain him recognition within the communications post. The initial ridicule faded away, replaced by a grudging respect and a growing curiosity. His superiors, who had previously dismissed him as a crazy janitor, now sought his opinion on matters of code and strategy. His colleagues, the seasoned codebreakers who had scoffed at his amateur attempts, now listened intently as he explained his theories and shared his insights. He was given more resources, a small team of assistants, and access to the most advanced codebreaking equipment. He was officially relieved of his janitorial duties, his mop and bucket replaced by a desk and a team of eager analysts. Harold Finch, the unassuming janitor, had finally found his place, his unique skills and unwavering perseverance transforming him into an unlikely hero in the war against the shadows. Now, a major enemy offensive loomed, a large-scale ambush meticulously planned to inflict maximum damage on American forces. Intelligence reports suggested a coordinated attack targeting a critical supply route, a strike that could cripple the Allied advance and prolong the war. The pressure on Finch was immense. He was tasked with deciphering the enemy's plans, uncovering the details of the ambush, and preventing a catastrophic loss. Days blurred into sleepless nights as he and his team raced against time, poring over intercepted messages, searching for the key that would unlock the enemy's strategy. The fate of countless soldiers, perhaps the entire war effort, rested on his shoulders. Working under this suffocating pressure, fueled by adrenaline and sheer determination, Finch achieved the impossible. He successfully decoded the entire enemy plan, revealing the full scope of the impending ambush. The critical piece of information that unlocked the code was a seemingly insignificant anomaly, a repeated phrase used in a series of intercepted messages. Finch realized that this phrase was not random, it was a key, a cipher that, when properly applied, revealed the true meaning of the coded communications. He discovered the precise location of the ambush, the number of enemy troops involved, the types of weapons they were using, and the exact timing of the attack. Armed with Finch's intelligence, the American forces were able to turn the tables on the enemy. Instead of walking into a deadly trap, they prepared a counter-ambush, positioning their troops strategically, laying their own traps, and waiting for the enemy to arrive. When the enemy launched their attack, they were met with a devastating response. The American forces, forewarned and prepared, inflicted significant losses on the enemy, shattering their offensive and forcing them to retreat in disarray. The planned ambush, which could have been a major disaster for the Allies, was transformed into a resounding victory, thanks to the brilliance of Harold Finch. Finch's code-breaking efforts led to a dramatic reduction in ambushes against American troops, estimated at 65% within 10 days. The impact of his work was undeniable, saving countless lives and significantly bolstering the Allied war effort. Convoys that had been routinely attacked now traveled safely, patrols moved with confidence, and supply lines remained open. The tide of the war in Cherbourg began to turn, thanks to the unlikely hero who had emerged from the shadows. Harold Finch, the unassuming janitor, became known as the insane janitor. The nickname, initially intended as a derisive jab at his unconventional background and obsessive dedication to code-breaking, gradually transformed into a term of endearment and respect. The soldiers, the officers, the codebreakers, they all marveled at his genius, his ability to see patterns where others saw only chaos, his unwavering commitment to solving the unsolvable. He was an outsider, a misfit, a man who didn't quite fit in, but he had proven himself to be an invaluable asset, a true hero of the war. The story of Harold Finch is a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of recognizing potential in unexpected places, and the extraordinary contributions that can be made by ordinary people. His unique skills, combined with his unwavering dedication and his unlikely background, made him a true unsung hero of the war. He reminded everyone that brilliance can be found in the most unassuming of individuals and that even the smallest contribution can have a profound impact on the course of history.